It was pretty good. If you only have like 2 or 3 minutes to watch a video, that's the cliff notes, the synopsis for you. It was really fucking good. So to address the elephant in the room, I just got done playing the final 2 episodes of Dispatch, which is why I look like this. I thought I would decorate the final episode, given, what we saw with Chase. I thought, it'd be a good idea to do this. And I have a basketball game. My name is Trey, and I don't know how I'm going to get this off, but yeah, to get to the actual crux of the matter here, yeah, Dispatch it's fantastic. It is one of the best things that I have watched this year. And you know what? I'm not even being hyperbolic. I'm going to do a quick little spoiler-less review, and then we're going to get into spoilers right the fuck away, because I want to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about it. The quick TLDR that it involves is absolutely zero spoilers, is this game is fantastic. And to call it a game would honestly be doing it a disservice, because it is a TV show. It is absolutely just a choose your own adventure TV show. The game parts of this TV show are incredibly underwhelming. To say one bad thing about the game, the actual parts where you dispatch the heroes, it's a cool idea. I did appreciate where the developers were coming from, but it was definitely not executed in a way where it was interesting. Actually, I found myself every single time that the dispatch segments of the game were there, or in other words, the game parts of the game were there, I was always sighing and complaining, and aside from that being my normal module of operation, it just wasn't fun to do. So overall, the worst parts of this game, ironically enough, are the game. The hacking is just incredibly boring. It really reminded me of the hacking from what was it, Spider-Man PS4, PS5, the first one, where you just kind of want to skip it. Like, there wasn't really anything interesting. It was never really that difficult. It was always just kind of like, fuck, okay, I guess this is what we're doing. But honest to God, that is probably the biggest negative I can give the game, because everything else is just phenomenal. The voice acting is superb. Obviously, with a star-studded cast like this, you would expect it to be fantastic. I mean, Aaron Paul does a great job as Robert. Honestly, I was a little bit nervous when I the Breaking Bad guy is there. You'd expect him to be like, yeah, bitch, every 3 seconds. But no, he does a great job. It seems like a very unique voice that he's given to Robert. But, that obviously isn't really necessarily the standout of the show. Obviously, the biggest name we have is Charles White, a highly acclaimed actor from The Hunger Games Mockingjay. So you got to give it up. This is probably one of his best performances. Charles White, my absolute hero, my idol, the biggest star in this whole production, and he just knocks it out of the park. Every single time that Sonar is on screen, you want to, like, this authentic. So let's get a little bit into the spoilers. The story of this TV show is at times very cookie cutter. Like, this isn't necessarily breaking grounds in terms of storytelling, because these are plot points that we've seen a million times. So quick little spoiler alert, at the very end, it turns out that Invisigal was secretly working for Shroud the entire time, and they essentially do this weird double back, which all the story beats, by the way, are not fully there in my head. I quite literally just finished watching, I was about to say playing, but watching finale, and I chose the Invisigal route, like the like the whipped little man that I am. But I am a little bit confused as to her intentions, because it turns out in episode either 6 or 7. Oh god, it wasn't even 6 or 7, it was 7 or 8. I didn't need to do that. But it turns out that she was working for Shroud, and she secretly had the Astral Pulse, which made Shroud kidnap Robert and torture him, asking him for the Astral Pulse. But she has it, but she didn't give it to Shroud, and instead she gave it to, didn't tell Rob. And then it was like, even now I don't really understand what it was. But you know what? I'm still glad I made the decision to go with my Gal Invisigal. Although, to be fair, and here's where I'm going to get a little controversial. I was saying this while I was streaming and I was playing. Had I been given the choice, the option to see what blonde Blazer looked like if she was brunette Blazer, my course of action may have been entirely different. And I say that with all the confidence. I didn't think whenever, because I saw the reveal, what was it, in episode 5 or 6, where she turned into brunette Blazer for the first time. That's not the route I went with, but I did see that cutscene. And I was like, oh, really? She's just a brunette. Like, why would that change anything? But you know what? It changes a lot. It changes a lot. So, you know what? Maybe there was a different choice to go with. But let's get back to the story. It is good. It is still really, really good. And it doesn't necessarily try to do anything new, but there were times where I was like kind of kicking my feetsies a little bit, thinking, wow, this is the direction that we're going with. This is a story that you feel like you've seen time and time again, but it doesn't necessarily make you not want to watch. Like the betrayal, Shroud being in the bar was something that you kind of saw coming. A lot of the story beats, you realistically speaking, can see coming. I'm going to keep harping back to this, but Invisigal being the guy who plants the bomb on Robert's back, like that was a big theory of everyone. Everyone assumed that was the case, and it turns out it was. And like, even when it happened, I wasn't necessarily shocked, because it's like, oh yeah, well, of course, her having the augment from Shroud, again, not necessarily something that is groundbreaking here. Like, we're not, this isn't like peak storytelling. So it's definitely that type of game that I would recommend to honestly everyone. I'm not someone who plays many games anymore, as you can maybe see. I have a MacBook here. That's what I game on. So, this was excellent for me to get my feet back in the gaming pool. Although, like I said before, not really necessarily a game. Just overall, my lasting impressions, I really want to see the other cutscenes. I want to see what the other endings are, because I'm very curious what specifically the decisions that you make with Shroud are, because the decision I made was to give him both the astral pulse that we had and the one that we had created before that doesn't necessarily work, because it seemed logical. But I am very curious what happens with the other two endings. I wonder if there is an ending where Shroud wins. I guess we'll have to see. But even not having known those endings, I still think that the game is fantastic. I like my choices that I made. I have faced accusations and allegations of being whipped by Invisigal, and you know what? Yeah, a man can only admit when he's wrong and when he's right, and I don't know which one. I need Invisigal to tell me which decision to make. But aside from that, there is one more minor complaint I have, and that has to do with Shroud. I feel like the villain in this game is very underwhelming. I felt that way in episode 1. Because he felt too ambiguous, honestly, too cookie cutter. I feel like I've seen this villain time and time again. And I believe it was the penultimate episode where we get to see the human version of Shroud. I felt like that was really, really interesting, especially the whole aspect of his augmentations. I wish we got to see and explore that just a little bit more. I feel like that was very much so on the back burner. A villain who is quite literally a mirror to Mecha Man, because he is what makes Mecha Man special. Like I said before, this isn't something that we haven't seen before. The antagonist or the foil being a mirror or the opposite side of the coin from the hero is, again, something that's been explored to death. But I do wish we got to explore just a little bit more of it. Like, you can definitely explore the ramifications of someone who is, giving people augmentations, especially, that guy who has the T-Rex arms. Like, that is something you can explore. Someone who is helping people, but just taking it way too far and being a villain. You also get the reveal that it was Shroud that created the astral pulse for, I believe, Robert's dad, which is a little bit confusing because he made it once. Why can't he make it again? And why does he even need it? He has this big octopus robot. Why does he need the astral pulse for? And that's a little confusing. And again, not all the story beats here I think are fantastic. I still think at the end of the day, it is a superhero show game superhero show. So it does have some of those cliches in it, but I don't think that works against it. Again, still think it does everything exceptionally well. Another complaint I do have, and honestly, I feel like a lot of people will disagree with me here, but I don't like that Chase survived. Hear me out, okay? Stop booing me. Hear me out. I feel like it hits a little bit hollow with the whole reveal that, Invisigal was working against us if Chase is alive. I feel like it definitely hits a lot harder if at that point she was actually actively trying to work against us. I do feel like Chase should have died. This whole reveal that he took the amulet that was giving the powers to Blonde Blazer was a little bit, and I know that it might look a little bit biased because I put on all of this that was going to take me hours to wash off just for the bit of Chase dying at the start, but I do feel like he should have stayed dead. Like, I love Chase. I love Chase. He's a great character, but definitely feel like that man should have not come back. That felt a little bit too perfect. And honestly, that is one thing I will say about the ending. Things felt too perfect. Like, Invisigal didn't die, Chase didn't die, Beef didn't die, which is good because I would have went on my fucking John Wick arc. But yeah, no, it was too perfect. So I would have preferred a little bit more nuance. Like, I felt like my decisions didn't necessarily have all that weight. And I guess that kind of goes into my next complaint, which is it does feel like some decisions don't really matter. Like, it feels like the layout of the story really revolves around just who you want to romance, either Invisigal or Blonde Blazer. And I felt like all those other decisions don't necessarily hold much weight, specifically when it comes to the fucking gameplay sections. I swear to God, there were times where I was failing every single mission, times where I was acing every single mission, and it felt like it did not matter. Like, towards the end, I was failing every single thing, and it just is like, okay, we're fine. Like, all right, why can you give me the option to like skip the dispatch segments? I just want to watch my goddamn movie, man. Anyways, if you have gotten to this point in the video and you don't feel convinced, play Dispatch. It's a fantastic game. I love it. Holy shit, it is just chef's kiss. It's not the freshest thing that we've seen in a while, but it definitely is the most it's fun. It's fun. But yeah, if you got to this point in the video, like, subscribe, small channel, all that stuff. And yeah, thank you. Bye. Love you.